Hi, I'm Amber Healer. I am the Principal Investigator for the Convergence Technology Regional National Science Foundation Center that is based at Collin College in Frisco, Texas. I'd like to tell you today about one of our really exciting programs, which is Working Connections.
I think one of the best things that Working Connections does is it provides cutting-edge training for faculty to prepare them to teach what businesses are wanting our graduates to know in the future. And they do it at a very low to no cost.
For most community college faculty, training budgets are either non-existent or minimal. And of course, IT is changing constantly, so we're always needing training in new technologies. And what Working Connections provides that. It's affordable.
I was often surprised to hear how small the budgets were for IT professional development for faculty, like $500 for multiple faculty members for an entire year.
I think one of the biggest problems I've ever had with Working Connection is the fact that they offer multiple tracks and you have to choose one.
Working Connections is so amazing because it's like watching faculty come in as little fresh-eyed kindergartners who are learning something brand new and exciting for the first time ever. And it's like seeing the student side of a faculty member.
And then when you get into the classroom and you sit down and you see what's going to be happening. I mean, it's the first day of school.
I think the biggest thing about Working Connections is the connections word on it. That it is connections for us to connect with a lot of others. And sometimes we come across those same people in other environments.
It's always really cool when you see an instructor from California talking to an instructor from Minnesota who would never otherwise meet, exchanging ideas about curriculum and classroom resources and best practices. That's always really cool for me.
It's right there in the name. Working Connections connects faculty with industry leaders that they would not normally have the opportunity to connect with and to learn from.
I think for each and every sessions we have learned, we have gone back, either modified our curriculum or added things. I think because of all the Working Connections, now we have a cloud degree.
I've been through self-training on Python. I went through the Cisco Academy training on Python. And it wasn't until I went through the Python sessions with Working Connections that I was able to, I'm going to say streamline it, put everything together and then streamline it. I built a Python class in 2 weeks based off of the information that I gathered from Working Connections.
In the mid to late 90s, Microsoft went to American Association of Community Colleges, AACC, and asked for them to organize a sort of a grant opportunity for leading colleges across the United States to be in the forefront of helping other colleges to implement IT programs.
What we kept hearing over and over was the need to help keep faculty up to date. And we heard that from college presidents, we heard it from faculty, we heard it from deans and other college administrators.
That this is the first national institute of this sort outside of the state of Washington, which was a state institute. We are very delighted that all of you have been here.
AACC ended up contracting with the Northwest Center for Emerging Technologies at Bellevue College, which had been holding some professional development every summer. They first contracted with Richland College to provide basically a proof of concept outside of the state of Washington for a Working Connection. So that was for the summer of 2002.
I want the faculty treated like they are an important member of that. And so what we did and what we designed in the model that you were experiencing is that's why the hotel goes with it. That's why you have excellent food while you're here, is just as if you were at a corporate training. We have designed this to make this a parallel experience, not just in what you experience here, not just in the training that you're getting, but also in the ability to go back and then incorporate that. Because in doing that, now you're going back and you're going to be able to more quickly incorporate these technologies into the classroom, into the curriculum.
And I said I would do it only if the next year we could put at least part of it at Collin College. What we did was we put together a board of community college leaders in IT across the state of Texas. Got the instructors set up, everything was set up. But the agreement was that it would be at Richland College and they would receive the money for that first year. And what happened was they really didn't have a whole convention center at that point. What they had was a gymnasium. That's all they had that we could use.
The first year that I remember being part of it, the grant was not technically part of it, but I had come out of business and industry, and Ann wanted me to be a lunch speaker at Working Connections, which at that time was being held at Richland College campus.
After the first couple of years, we didn't have any more money to fund it. It was 10 other colleges to agree to provide Working Connections. Microsoft gave them a small grant to provide it the first year and an even smaller grant to do it for the second year. And after that money was gone, some sites continued, some sites did not. And today there are very few sites that are continuing.
These colleges around the country dropped off, and the last college standing was Collin. And the main reason for that is Ann Beheeler. And she saw the value in it and how important it was. And she just kept it going and was very inspirational in driving people to come and to understand the value and benefit they were getting out of it.
When we got our regional centers grant, we started funding it partially from that. And then we helped give a travel stipend for those that were heavily involved in our various activities of that grant.
Heritage Hall on the Frisco campus has always been one of the primary places until the IT center opened this last year. And so that is where the Convergence Technology offices were, the classrooms. We would use some of the empty classrooms as break rooms when what I've always referred to as the Whataburger building. It's now a dance studio on campus. It was the small conference. I don't know if they called it a conference center. It was the largest meeting room on campus.
So I've been assisting with Working Connections since July of 2012. And a lot has changed. We have found that classroom setup is much easier. There's not as many requirements for the classrooms. You don't have to have tons of pre-set up. It's a lot of, oh no, it's just an online link, or here it's this sandbox thing that they can go out and do on a virtual machine.
So my first Working Connections was back in 2013. At the time, a lot of work was spent trying to find free textbooks to be donated by the publishers. But now in 2022, it's not even a thing. I just assumed the instructors won't need textbooks because it's all moved online. That's a big change.
The Working Connections that we've been able to fund for the last 20 years has been funded largely through National Science Foundation money and has been one of the only comprehensive sets of training in IT.
I'd have to say my favorite memory is all the dinners at La Hacienda. Generally the evening after the first day of classes, because Working Connections is pretty intensive. It's a deep dive for a full week. And, we all just push them into the deep end on that first day. But that evening is when we would normally then have a dinner for everybody together. It was generally at La Hacienda because at the time, one of the few hotels in town was right there across the parking lot from La Hacienda. But the opportunity there for people to actually start to connect on a human level and to get to know each other.
So one cool sort of side story to Summer Working Connections is that in 2010, the program was expanded to winter.
We decided that we ought to have a shorter Working Connection just prior to Christmas. Supposedly the sweet spot we were going for was after finals and before Christmas. What we were hearing from our instructor students was that it was really difficult to get away to travel that time of year. Plus the cost for travel was pretty significant because we were getting pretty close to Christmas. We decided to pilot it online the next year, and it was a very big success.
Starting in 2015, that program went all online. So Working Connections in the wintertime even way before the pandemic, was offered 100% online.
It allows a broader reach and more people to attend because they don't have to travel right before the holidays or semester ending. And so doing that change, you can see a large growth in the number of attendees for Winter Working Connections.
And because it was such a success and it was basically sought after by a lot of people, a lot more people, we decided to continue that. It saves money in the grant, which allows us to offer more training.
When the CTC's national grant, NSF grant, was funded in 2012, Working Connections expanded even further beyond Texas. We started offering these franchise locations in Wisconsin and in Michigan and in Florida. So beyond the mothership in Texas, we were also training faculty in those states as well. So when COVID-19 hit, we moved Summer Working Connections that year, 2020, all online for the first time ever. And we were surprised to find an entirely new audience of attendees. In the past, our record had been 105 people in person, but that was broken. In 2020, we tried 184 attendees from across the country to join Working Connections online. So we realized that in addition to the ones who came regularly in person, this whole other cohort of people that never could or would travel to an in-person event here in Texas.
The shift in Working Connections caused by COVID-19 has led to a new way of working connections. Something new in 2022 that we've done is we have a hybrid. We've got in-person tracks at the same time we're running on fully online tracks, something we've not ever done, but allowing us still a broader reach to meet both of the audiences, those who strictly want to be online and those who want to come in person.
It's helped me to make connections with other people that are implementing those kind of programs, and the resources they provide saved us probably years of having to create some of this material ourselves.
I know my job would have been a lot harder had I not had Working Connections.
It's just an incredible vehicle to be able to stay current with the technology in an easy way, because otherwise you're having to pay more for the training or you're having to read on your own. And if you read on your own, you certainly miss the networking that's involved with the other faculty members and the folks that are actually teaching the classes.
It's me the opportunity to network with my professional peers, and we're able to share our successes and struggles.
Changing and keeping up with the new stuff, and without Working Connections, we wouldn't be able to keep up with all the new changes coming down the pipe.
I think I would be stuck back in the old days about 10 years ago, not able to move forward in technology.
You know that you're going to come, and in a week they're going to, they're basically going to feed you like drinking through a water hose.
Hi, I'm Doug Johnson from Midland, Texas, Midland College. Working Connections has been a great experience for all of us that have attended. It provides an opportunity for us to get together, to network with one another, share ideas, how to incorporate what we've learned back into the classroom, and every year I go back with something new. It's a valuable experience.
But you get to meet a lot of new people, and you get to become friends with a lot of new people.
We did a focus group one year where we talked to people who had been regular attendees over many years. And we asked them basically some things you're asking me, what's the secret sauce? Why do you come back? For a lot of them, networking was really almost as valuable as the learning part. So those relationships have stayed. And even after some people have changed jobs, they're still in contact with people from Working Connections.
We have been incredibly blessed to have vendors who have donated equipment, who have donated instructors, who have donated the travel for the instructors to come and present many of the tracks at Working Connections. Collin College, over the 20 years that we've been holding this on the campus, actually has been incredibly supportive of all that we have done. We have been provided with rooms for our labs, for our classes to occur in. We have also been provided with the convention center space so that we could have our lunches and share our lunch speeches. I would like to give special thanks to Tony Jenkins, Dr. Tony Jenkins. She was my vice president provost when we started this entire venture. And she was always very supportive of everything we do. Dr. Abe Johnson, who is now our senior VP, was extremely helpful as well. And he was supported by, and is supported by Dr. Matkin, our president. So we have support all the way up the line in getting this to happen.
So for us here in the office at the CTC, definitely Working Connections is a labor of love. Many hours are spent working on it, getting it ready for attendees to show up. Those last 2 weeks before the event are pretty crazy around here. Getting everything ready, the catering and the handouts and the packets and everything the classroom needs, and instructors need, all those emails. So hopefully all that work pays off and the faculty have a very satisfying experience.
You know, I am just so proud and impressed with the work of the Convergence Technology Center and the legacy of Working Connections that's been built, that I've been able to be a part of it.
Seeing from the long-term longitudinal studies, seeing how many students are actually affected by the faculty who get the free training through the Working Connections events. If we total it up in total over all the whole time period, it's well into the several 100,000.
What would he do without it? There's no way to replace it.
Have a safe journey. See you next year.